It was supposed to be the most exciting day of our lives, the annual school trip. Our teachers took us to an old historical site deep in the countryside, a place surrounded by thick woods and silence that felt too heavy to breathe in. The name of the place was Blackwood Academy, an abandoned boarding school that had been shut down 40 years ago after a mysterious fire. Everyone said it was cursed, but our teachers called it an educational visit. The bus ride there was filled with laughter and snacks, but as soon as we crossed the rusted gates, the air turned cold. Even the birds stopped singing. The building loomed over us, its windows broken like eyes watching every move we made. A sign at the entrance read, "Knowledge never dies." Some students joked about ghosts, but others just stayed quiet, especially when we noticed faint voices echoing down the empty halls. Inside, the classrooms were coated in dust. Old desks sat perfectly aligned as if waiting for students to return. One of my friends, Emily, picked up a half-burnt notebook and read aloud the last line written inside. "The fire isn't the end. We are still here." Everyone laughed nervously, except our teacher, Miss Alina, who turned pale and snatched it away. "Don't read things like that," she said sharply, though her voice trembled. As the day went on, strange things began to happen. The doors creaked even when no one touched them. We heard faint footsteps following us, and in one classroom, a blackboard suddenly filled itself with chalk writing, "Present." We thought it was someone playing a prank, until we realized every student was standing right there, watching in horror. During lunch, one of the students went missing, a boy named Jason. We searched everywhere, calling his name, but he had vanished without a trace. Miss Alina went to look for him in the west wing of the building and told us to stay put. Minutes turned into hours, the sky darkened, the bus driver refused to stay any longer, saying the air smelled wrong. But Miss Alina and Jason hadn't returned. Then we heard a scream echo through the halls, sharp, desperate, and too real to be a joke. We ran toward the sound and found Miss Alina's flashlight flickering on the ground. The walls around us were covered in old photographs, class pictures of students from decades ago, and in the last photo, we saw Jason's face smiling among them, wearing an old school uniform, his eyes lifeless. The lights went out, we were trapped in total darkness. The air turned ice cold, and faint whispers began to circle us, whispering our names, one by one. A girl behind me started crying, saying she could feel someone holding her hand, but when we shone a light, no one was there. Just a shadow pressed against the wall, shaped like a person but flat and moving on its own. Suddenly, we saw Miss Alina, or something that looked like her, standing at the end of the corridor. Her hair was wet, her eyes hollow, and she said softly, "Don't leave the class, the lesson isn't over yet." We ran. Doors slammed shut behind us. The old fire alarm went off even though there was no fire, just smoke like mist rolling through the halls. We finally broke a window and escaped through the backfield, running toward the bus as the building groaned and the windows shattered from the inside. The bus driver sped away without waiting for everyone to sit. When we looked back, the old school was glowing faintly, as if it was alive again, and in one of the top floor windows, we saw Jason and Miss Alina waving goodbye. When the police returned the next morning, they found no trace of the building. The field was empty, just grass and dirt, as if the school had never existed. Our phones still had the photos we took earlier, except now, every picture showed the same thing, an empty field and faint outlines of students standing behind us, smiling. No one ever spoke of that trip again. The school erased the event from their records. But sometimes, at night, I still get notifications on my phone, shared photos from that day. Each one clearer than the last, and the latest one? It showed me standing in front of Blackwood Academy, smiling, with Jason and Miss Alina beside me.